Well, the World Cup kicking off this week, Thursday night. Friday night, the U.S. women kicked off their first World Cup game against Vietnam, a game they won 3-0, by the way. The sports world loving it, but off the field, American fans, not so much. Players on the U.S. women's team criticized for not singing along to the national anthem. Not all of them, but a lot of them were seen not singing the national anthem, not having their hands over their hearts. So wondering what degree of patriotism does this show, or lack of, for the U.S. women's team? Back with us now is Jeffrey Lord, Ford O'Connell, as well as Melanie Collette to discuss. Jeffrey, you've worked in the White House. When you see many of the U.S. women's soccer players, several of whom are the highest paid female soccer players in the world, not singing along to their country's national anthem in a World Cup match, by the way. I mean, this is on the world stage. Meanwhile, you have the entire Vietnam team, whom they beat 3-0 on Friday night, was seen proudly singing their national anthem. What comes to mind?
Well, you know what's really going on here is this whole woke business. And I guarantee you, if somebody on that team wanted to come out with a sign that said, "I am pro-life," wow, can you imagine the uproar from the other progressive women on the team? They would have gone nuts. And no less than Riley Gaines, who has had to deal with the transgender issue in her swimming sport, has called out Megan Rapinoe and said, you know, come on, let's debate. Let's get on with this topic here, because you once upon a time were very pro-woman, and now you're saying men can play on the soccer team, but mysteriously you're retiring just as you think this is a good thing to do. This is virtue signaling, and I think she's right.
Yeah, you know, Ford, we'll get to you in a second. Melanie, let's bring this up with you. You're a woman. Megan Rapinoe.
I am.
Megan Rapinoe, she's retiring. She announced she's retiring after this World Cup. She's also come out in favor of trans athletes, men playing on women's teams. She says, yeah, of course they should be allowed to do that. Very convenient when she's retiring now and doesn't have to face those athletes. No?
Elite liberals have this really strange habit of helping people that have nothing to do with them. Right, when it has literally no effect on their lives, this is how they help. It's how they help in our schools. It's how she's helping in the sports. When the decisions that they make don't affect them. You can see this in defunding the police. You can see this in no bail reform. All of these things are giant virtue signals, and it's really the audacity for me. And another thing, you know, we living in the United States. You know, she can be unpatriotic because she lives in the United States. We are so privileged here in the United States that we can complain about things like not using the correct pronoun, and we can whine about a song that is racist because of where it was filmed, because we live in the United States. And that's what really makes me angry about all of this entire agenda.
Yeah. Ford, in recent years, a lot of the talk about this U.S. women's soccer team has been about equal pay. Last year, the U.S. Soccer Federation revised the contracts of the men's and women's teams, so much so that now they'll each get an equal share of the prize money for each World Cup game. But we crunched the numbers this week to see how deserving that equal pay raise was for the women. I think we have a graphic to show you. We'll take a look at the viewership first. Let's take a look at the 2022 Men's World Cup final game. The last game they played in the World Cup, 1.5 billion viewers worldwide. You compare that to the most recent 2019 Women's World Cup final, 260 million viewers worldwide. Let's take a look at the revenue, how that shapes up. Revenue, 2022 Men's World Cup final, 7.5 billion. Compared to the 2019 Women's World Cup, 766 million. Let's leave those numbers up for just a second. That's the amount of money in total that each World Cup brought in, women bringing in about a tenth of the number that the men did. And now that's not to demean the women in any way, but it's simply to show, look, the men are bringing in more money. Should they not be paid more commensurate with the amount of money that they're bringing in? Ford.
Well, look, CNN and a lot of other liberal media is basically pushing this idea that the women's team is not getting equal pay. And as you just showed, they're getting 1/4 of what the men are, and they're only bringing in 1/10 of the revenue. Let's remember, the World Cup is a professional sport. If anything, the women's team is getting paid more than the men's team when you actually crunch the numbers. So there is no equal pay disparity. You are paid what you are worth. And Melanie is absolutely right, by the way. There are 32 World Cup teams participating in this event. in terms of countries, some of the worst human rights violators, China, Haiti, Zambia, guess what? They are all standing up for their country and singing their anthem loudly, and the United States is looking like a bunch of spoiled brats.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey, real quick, will Americans be pulling for this women's team?
Oh, I'm skeptical here. I mean, this runs pretty much to a pattern. You've got the elites, in this case, in this sport, going in one direction. You got the American people rolling their eyes and turning off the TV in the other direction.
Melanie, will you be pulling for this women's team?
Nope, won't even look at it.
Ford?
I always pull for the United States no matter what. I think, unfortunately, here they are deranged social justice warriors when we're talking about the women's team, and the backlash is warranted.
All right. Well, it's certainly a complicated team to root for. Ford O'Connell, Jeffrey Lord, Melanie Collette, thank you all for joining us.